Hey everyone, Josh here with a look at another Star Wars toy. Today we're going to do an unboxing video. Today we're going to unbox a Force Link 2.0 Stormtrooper Mimban from the Solo: A Star Wars Story movie. So let's go unbox this guy, come on. Alright everybody, here we are today with a Force Link 2.0 figure. This is a Stormtrooper from the new Solo movie, and he is from the world of Mimban. I am assuming it's a world, or it could be a city. We have yet to see the Solo movie. For context, at the time I'm making this video, the Solo movie has not been released yet. And we are going to unbox this guy today, but before we get that far, I just want to quickly spin the packaging around, let you guys take a look at it. And unfortunately, in the Force Link line, they don't have any figure description or anything on the back. They're just using it as a promotional tool to promote the Force Link. So let's go ahead and unbox this guy. But this is a character from the new Solo movie. And it is a Stormtrooper, Mimban, and you can see the name of the planet right there, and I hope I am pronouncing it correctly. And to be completely honest with you, I'm not totally sure I am, because we have not heard it used on screen yet, or at least I have not. So it had to be interesting to see what role that world plays in the new Solo movie. So very good. All right, and there he is. Very nice. I thought that was actually like a staff or something. It's a sniper rifle. Very cool. We'll check that out in a second. And there he is. And I really like this Stormtrooper for a couple reasons, because he looks used. He's from the used future, if you're familiar with that term, and he's very dirty, which I think that gives it a very cool look. I hate to use the term realistic, but it gives it a real world feel to it. And you can see he has a poncho on, or some sort of raincoat. And it actually kind of reminds me, the first glance I saw this figure, I actually thought it was Captain Phasma for a second, because of the coat or cape. I think it's a coat, because you can actually see a hood here. But we'll find out when the movie is released. And another thing I'm actually seeing right off the bat I like about this guy is the position of his hands. You can see he's got his hands in the position to be blaster ready and hold it with both hands. And unfortunately, it looks like he may have a little bit of difficulty holding on to the blaster, because if you look, you can see they have it rubber banded into his hand. So that is not a good sign right off the bat, but we are going to remove that and see how he does here. All right. Rubber band man. I apologize, that is the Force Link powering down. Okay, so very interesting. But there he is, and let's quickly run through the dirty Stormtrooper's movements. So looking at his head here, it's a little bit stiff, but you have side-to-side movement and very little up and down wiggle. There really actually is no up and down movement on this guy on the head. And looking at his arms here, I was wondering if we might get some elbow articulation because of the position of his arms, but there is not. It appears you only have shoulder rotation, and it's on both arms. But as I was pointing out, you can see he's in this, his arm is in this bent position, and it's locked that way, so that is restricting your movement. So if you look, when you swing his right arm down, it stops at his waist because it's hitting his waist, and then when you swing it up, it's he's hitting himself in the head. So that is the full range of his right arm. But you do get the other arm will go all the way around. You just kind of got to move the cape out of the way a little bit. And so it does not appear that this cape he is wearing, or this raincoat, is removable. You can move it around his body, but I do not actually see a way to pull it off. And some figures, if you have the daring to do this, some figures, and I'm not suggesting anyone pop the head off of their Mimban Stormtrooper, but I have seen figures in the past where you can actually remove the head. I have a Kylo Ren figure that actually came with 2 heads, so you can pop the head off, and I have a Captain Phasma figure you can actually pop the head off, so if you want to remove her cape, but I'm not going to suggest you do that with this figure if you own it or purchase it, but if you strongly desire to remove the cape, that is maybe something you could try. But to be completely honest with you, I would not recommend doing that. So just for the best thing I could say really is don't remove the coat or don't remove the cape. It's got to stay on, unfortunately. So let's do the rest of his movements here. And no waist movement, and you have hip movement, and that is it for him. Oh, and on his arms, I apologize, you can actually rotate. Looks like the hand's actually popping out. His wrists do rotate, so you can rotate his hands. So very cool on both arms too. So very cool. And then he comes with, I'm going to put him over here for now, what looks like your standard E11 blaster for a Stormtrooper. So I always like it when a figure comes with multiple accessories. And so this guy actually came with 2 guns. So of course you have the E11. And then you have this large, what appears to me to be a sniper rifle that he comes with. And it almost appears with, I don't know if this is a silencer on the barrel, but it looks like a silencer. We will find out when the movie is released, I'm sure. And it has a shoulder sling on it that is not very flexible. It has a little movement to it, but it is fairly stiff. And there you go. You can see you got a little clip here and a scope. So even for a sniper rifle, that's not a very big scope. So, but there you go. And you can see that there's no handle on this gun, so it had to be interesting to see how he holds this thing. So real quick here, let's see how he holds the little blaster. Whoa. Okay. You would think with a two-handed... Okay, guys, so there he is holding his blaster, and I love the arm pose that they got him in. Unfortunately, it looks like he's pointing the thing down. But there you go. It's a pose where he can hold the blaster with both hands, and I really like that. It looks very cool. You don't see that in a lot of figures. So he can have the two... And he does have the two-handed grip on the blaster, but unfortunately, if you, as you can see, it doesn't... Oh, it's staying in there. Okay, now it doesn't stay in there. He doesn't have a really tight grip on it. And this could be just... Maybe the one I have is a little bit of a bad molding or maybe a little bit defective, but I don't know how well you guys can see under his hand here, but he's not even really holding the handle of the blaster all that well. His hand is around it, but he doesn't really have a good grip on it. So you can see it'll come loose fairly easy. So just be aware of that. And again, this could be a defective version of this figure, but I'm not totally sure about that. So there we go. There he is holding the little blaster, and let's see if this shoulder sling works. Very cool. So if you want to have him carry both weapons at once, you can sling it over his shoulder. And let's see if we can actually get him to hold this thing, because in the past I've had difficulty with these rifles without a handle and getting the characters to hold them. So let's see here. And you know what? He does hold it. Very good. Okay. And this may be the reason why he doesn't hold the other blaster all that well, is because they tried to compensate so he can hold both of them. So there you go. I can get him to hold the long rifle, but it's not exactly in a position where he's got it up to his shoulder or anything like that, or he can aim it. But he is holding it. So that's very cool. Alright, so you can get him to hold both rifles, but As you can see, it's a little bit of an awkward grip for a sniper rifle. So here we go with this figure. Oops, let's see. Come on, stand up, buddy. He wants to fall backwards. Okay, so this fella doesn't want to stand up for me here, so we're going to put him on a stand, but there we go. Alright, so what we have here, of course, this is a Force Link 2.0 figure, so here is the Force Link 2.0 scanner. And what this thing is, if you're not familiar with it, it is basically a little chip scanner, and each of the figures has a little tiny chip embedded in it, and you scan the chips with this part here, and what you're going to get when you scan them is there's a little speaker in here, and you're going to hear lines from the movie, blaster sounds, battle sounds, things like that. So what you do here is, if you look at this area here, there's no buttons on this device at all. There are things that look like buttons, like these little circles here, but they're not buttons. They're just for looks or design. And this is how you control and activate the whole thing here. And so there's a speaker under here, but there's also a little sensor under here, and it senses your finger. So it's not a traditional button that you actually push. It's a little sensor that reads your finger. And if you've seen some of my videos in the past, you may see I kind of tap this thing very hard. And that's because sometimes this sensor doesn't respond all that well. It's not as sensitive as I would like it to be. So sometimes I get a little carried away and I might tap them a little hard. But let's see if we can turn this thing on. So here's how you turn it on. You got to tap the little sensor area, and you can see it light up. And then you just want to scan your figure. So let's see here.
Trooper, standing guard. Enemy reinforcements incoming. Look alive.
Okay. So there's two ways.
Firmware update required.
Uh-oh. Well, there's two ways to get this thing to work if you've read the instructions. So one way is you're supposed to actually strap this thing to your wrist right here, but it does not fit on my hands, so I have to do it this way. So what they tell you in the instructions is there's two ways to make it work.
Standing guard. Enemy reinforcements incoming.
Is you can move it, and and that is supposed to be one way to cycle through what the thing says. And then also you're supposed to be able to tap the back here, and it should give you a couple extra sayings. So let's see here.
Look alive. There they are. Blast them. We're taking enemy fire here. Enemy reinforcements incoming. Ah! Look alive. Enemy reinforcements incoming.
All right, so there you guys have it. That is what the Force Link sound effects sound like for this fella. And one thing I'm also noticing about this guy right off the bat, if you look, one of the things that seems to be a little bit different about this trooper is it looks like he has extra plating on the front of his helmet here. Might be a little hard to see on camera, but if you look, there's a little line right here, and it looks like the front forehead piece of the helmet actually has double plating on it. So I know they dress and equip the stormtroopers in according to the environment they're in. So it had to be interesting to see what kind of environment this guy is in that he needs double plating on his helmet. So, all right, guys. There he is from the Force Link 2.0 and the new Solo movie. This is a Stormtrooper from Mimban. And thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. And if you're enjoying the videos and the reviews, please subscribe to the channel. And again, everyone, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Bye.